Go fight, go fight. You're being ridiculous. Totally and utterly blind.
Dude, I'm sorry, but the Biden administration is a joke.
Come on, stop insulting our intelligence. It doesn't make us look stupid, it makes you look stupid. We are not going to kiss the ass of your donors while people die. What is wrong with you guys?
She won her seat in Congress by challenging a Democratic incumbent. That was the whole point of the Justice Democrats. So the idea that she was willing to concede to the Democratic establishment and say that she will no longer support primary challengers to Democratic incumbents is particularly rich and also very disgusting. But maybe complying is how leaders lead, or maybe leaders lead without complying or bending to the will of the establishment that she was elected to fight in the first place.
That defeats the whole point. The point of Justice Democrats was to send in people to challenge those incumbents, to challenge the establishment, and to open the door for others so that more progressives and populists could go into Congress and we could actually topple the establishment and take over. The point wasn't to go inside and become part of the establishment and go up the ranks for your own benefit. Because if you say you're not going to challenge incumbents anymore, then there's no point. They have a massive lead in terms of the numbers of congressmen that they have. The establishment Democrats have 95% of the party. If you freeze it in place now, we will be a permanent minority. Why would you agree to that? Strategically, it makes no sense at all for the movement, but for your own career, it does make some sense. And because then all your colleagues are much nicer to you, you get along better with them, you make up pretty excuses about why you had to do it, you get a better position, it allows you to run for a higher office one day. It's not my job to promote their egos or careers. I don't care about that. What I care about is passing bills. And we cannot pass these bills. And I thought we agreed when we challenged those Democratic incumbents together that we cannot pass those bills if we don't defeat the establishment. And look, guys, this is not a recent thing. I know that fairly soon after she won and got into Congress, when other Justice Democrats, not me, went and talked to her and asked her to help incumbents, primaries against incumbents, it was like pulling teeth. Instantly like, whoa, but that's gonna get me shunned. Who cares? Who cares? What did you think we were gonna do a polite revolution? And that if you asked politely of Mama Bear, she was gonna be like, oh yeah, my $1 billion in donors, I'll ignore them because you're so pleasant to me, right? And the second thing she says, they need to allow us this space. No, they don't need to allow anything. When you were running against Crowley, did you ask his permission before you kicked his ass? No, you didn't. You did a great job. You ran an unbelievable race, and you pulled off one of the greatest upsets in American history. So go fight, but she won't. She won't. I mean, after this, she goes, okay, I'll never challenge you guys, and they deny her anyway. I told you it never works. Beseeching them and pleading with them never works. And you know what? As soon as they can, they're gonna push you out of the party, and then you're gonna be shocked and chagrined. You're gonna be totally surprised by it. Fight back, but you probably won't because it's uncomfortable.
There's no question that people are seeing drones, and I want to assure the American public that we in the federal government have deployed additional resources, personnel, technology to assist the New Jersey State Police in addressing the drone sightings.
Dude, I'm sorry, but the Biden administration is a joke. How are you gonna sit there and tell us, oh, we don't know anything about these drones. Like, we're trying to get answers too, but we know that it's not a threat. And we know, he also said, by the way, that there are no signs of foreign involvement. How would you know? You're purporting to not know anything about what these drones are, where they came from. So how are we supposed to buy that there's no threat here?
Yeah. So
this is ridiculous.
And tell me how, if Joe Biden's still dynamic and young behind the scenes and is on top of this, why won't you say what the F the drones are? Because you obviously know. Come on, stop insulting our intelligence. It doesn't make us look stupid, it makes you look stupid.
Yeah.
Okay? I know in the old days you control mainstream media and you say, gaslight people. Oh, no, it's your fault for thinking they're drones. But guys, we have eyes and ears, and you've lost track of that. People that I know that grew up with the establishment mindset that they got from watching television their whole lives is that the people in power are really smart and they're really competent, and they make these decisions that are so amazing, you can't even understand them, right? But if you knew what they know, man, you would know they're playing four-dimensional chess, and we should really obey them. We should comply with their directives because they really know something we don't know. And on election night, they found out, oh, they don't know anything we don't know. They never had a good plan to beat Trump, and they just lost to Trump again. I thought for sure they knew. And it turns out they don't know anything. And now when you see the drones, you're like, you don't know that you should respond before this turns into a national and international frenzy? You don't know something as basic as don't let it fester for 4 weeks as everyone on earth speculates as to what the hell those drones are? You can't even do simple PR like that? No, these guys that are in the establishment that are in power, they're not smarter. They're not even smart. They're not even competent. They're a bunch of middling bureaucrats. And the way that they got there was the donor class doesn't want brilliant people. They don't want out-of-the-box thinkers. The donor class wants simple people who are subservient and know how to take orders.
Compliant.
So we wound up with a government filled with simpletons who take orders for a living and don't know how to govern. And that's why we're in the mess we're in.
Of the 606 incidents of civilian harm in Gaza in October of 2023, in this 1 month, only 26 out of the 606 had evidence that at least one militant was killed. Only 26 out of the 606, okay, included at least one militant being killed. The rest, all civilians.
So do you think that Israel missed 580 times because they're just the worst military in the world? They just can't ever hit anything right, but they never learn a lesson either. They're like, oh, we just murdered more children, no militants. Oh, golly gee, let's miss again and again and again. No, because this goes to the core of whether they're terrorists or not. And unfortunately, this current right-wing government of Israel is literal terrorists. They already had terrorists in the cabinet that were adjudicated as supporting terrorism. Now they have done one of the worst acts of terrorism of my life. And what it hinges on is it intentional or not? And when you only hit 26 militants out of 606 times that you struck, and you killed 45,000 civilians or 45,000 people, the overwhelming majority of whom are civilians, you get to begin to get the sense that it is intentional. And if you still think it's not intentional, golly gee, they just can't ever hit the right target. But the next time they do a bombing, they are gonna have great intent because they're Israel and the Muslims are the violent savages and we are the holy people. Okay, well then, you're so out of touch that you're a borderline lunatic. But for the rest of us, this is sickening, and I don't want to spend one more dollar that comes out of all of our paychecks to kill these poor people. They're now going to try to take half of Gaza. That's the indication that they've shown in their statements and in their trainings, etc.
That's cute that people think it's only going to be half of Gaza.
Yeah, well, for now, they're certainly going to take northern Gaza. They've already said we're going to take central Gaza and we're going to take the border crossing in southern Gaza, which leaves almost nothing in Gaza. And now they're having conversations about annexing the West Bank. So basically they're thinking, okay, we got these sucker Americans to give us $30 billion to kill these people, drive them from their land and take their land, and then we'll get their media to say that the victims are the aggressors. The victims are the ones that are threatening Israel. Israel's occupying them, but we'll pretend that the Palestinians are more powerful and oppressing the poor Israelis. Israel might not exist because of the Palestinians. Israel might not exist. Okay, I know that there was when Israel first started, that was a super legitimate thought, right? These days, if you're still saying that super old talking point when Israel is one of the most powerful militaries in the world and backed by America, you're being ridiculous, totally and utterly blind. Look, I know that it's a cultural thing for some Americans to take their kids out shooting when they're minors. Nevertheless, I think it's a terrible idea, terrible. I think it's a terrible idea to have guns in the house when there's kids under 18. I know a lot of you don't agree and you think you're defending yourself, but I got a 14 and a 12-year-old. They shouldn't be anywhere near guns, and not for a long, long time. So they don't have the emotional maturity. That's why we don't let them drink beer for another 6 years after 15, right? But you think they have the emotional maturity to handle a shotgun and handle other guns? No, they don't. And remember, teenagers have massive mood swings. If in the middle of one of those mood swings there's a weapon around, that's a recipe for disaster. Kids shouldn't be anywhere near guns, anywhere near them. But no, we got a culture that says, no, guns are awesome. Guns are the answer, and I forgot the question. Well, then don't be surprised. And people are like, here I feel terrible. It's a Christian school, right? And they're so shell-shocked. They can't believe it. Number one, what is there not to believe? Look, I've been saying this for over a decade now. There's gonna be a shooting near you because they're endless. So the mass shootings happen at more than one a day. That's 4 people getting shot in one shooting. There's been 554 school shootings in the last 11 years. So why are you still getting surprised? The local police department was preparing for a school shooting exercise when the school shooting happened. That's how used to we are of school shootings. And we're like, oh, I mean, we could change our gun culture and we could change our crooked politicians. No, let's not do that. Let's just have our kids get slaughtered and be shocked every time. Oh, I thought other kids were gonna die. I didn't know my kids are gonna die. Yeah, brothers and sisters, that's how it works because it's random. And then of course they're extra shocked because they thought the thoughts and prayers would work. And that's not really how it works. I agree with the authorities. No, if you're buying guns, like, in my opinion, like a jackass for a 15-year-old who's got, let alone a 15-year-old with emotional issues, and then you go, oh, well, no one could have seen this coming. No, I see it coming. So you could forget the past for a second. In the future, if you're going to buy your kids a weapon before they're 18, I see it coming now. It's going to be a disaster. And you think, no, that's for other people, but not mine. No, yours too. They're too young to handle weapons that could kill people. It's so obvious. And if we weren't so blinded by our culture and our politics, you would know it was obvious. It's obviously the whole rest of the world. The rest of the world thinks we're absolutely nuts for how much we use guns, celebrate guns, how much we accept mass shootings, school shootings. They're like, you guys don't mind your kids being massacred? What is wrong with you guys? And if you say we shouldn't do any gun control and we shouldn't do any of these actions, then you're saying you don't mind the mass shootings. That it's worth that your hobby is worth that price. I'm keeping it real, even if it hurts your feelings. You want to fund corporate robots to do the news for you and push out your message, but you're missing it, brother. In online media, robots don't work. Authenticity works.
That's exactly right.
They demand propaganda, so they will not advertise on any show that questions them.
Right.
And they don't support any kind of media that would ever question them, even 1%. So then what do you think is gonna happen to you online? You're going to fund and support propaganda outlets that act like robots, that are totally disingenuous. Will you get a whole bunch of blue and on folks to watch that? Yes, you will, right? And then they'll go, yes, Joe Biden is young, Joe Biden is dynamic, Joe Biden's in charge, he's the best candidate we've ever had, right? Because that's what their hosts are telling them 24/7, that's what they wanted to hear anyway. Is that gonna help you win an election? No, not at all, because they're not addressing a single undecided voter. But when you come to shows like ours, filled to the rim with undecided voters, they go, no, you don't support us and you won't do our marketing and our propaganda. So we don't care about your undecided voters. We're gonna spend our money on decided voters who already love us. Okay, God, good luck to you, brothers and sisters. But if you constantly attack your media that's on the left wing, that is actually authentic, well, then you don't be surprised. What happened to our side? How come the right wing's bigger online now? We were paying everyone for propaganda. Why didn't it work? Because that's not how it works online. Get it through your thick head, but they won't. They'll learn absolutely nothing from this. I'm positive of it. The root of the problem isn't how they message. The root of the problem is that they take the corporate money and they serve the corporate money. If they didn't serve the corporate money, all this would be super easy. You just go on Rogan or Young Turks or anywhere and you just say, God damn right, we're gonna stand up for the American people. We're gonna get you higher wages through higher minimum wage and other actions. We're gonna preserve your jobs. We're gonna fight for your health care. We're gonna get you paid family leave. But they're never gonna do that because when they go to ask permission for their donor cause, may I please, sir, fight for a little bit of health insurance for the American people. No, shut up. Okay. Well, if you're a candidate like that, which all of the establishment Democrats are like that, it doesn't matter if you give them a new script. It doesn't matter if you set up new propaganda outlets online as opposed to mainstream media. Never going to work, okay? Because of the, and so that's the core political reason. The core cultural reason, I'll just expand on what Anna is saying. So number one, first of all, that hatred of the establishment is part of the culture now, because that establishment has not led to a good life for most Americans. Top 10% live like kings, and they're super happy. That is why they are genuinely bewildered why anyone is upset. They're like, what do you mean? This is a great country, I'm living great. What, oh, these ungrateful millennials, etc., right? And Gen Z, oh, they're so ungrateful. No, brothers and sisters, they live a different life than you, but you won't listen to them because all you do is listen to the donors. You've got to get that through your thick head, otherwise you're going to get annihilated in these elections. When we have the popular policies.
Thanks for watching the Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.